here for you.
In the dead of night, something tears through the sky, a fiery object burning bright as it hurtles toward Earth. It crashes deep in the desert, sending shockwaves across the sand. A hunter and his loyal dog witness the fall from afar. The dog won't stop barking, growling, restless as if sensing something unnatural. Then, unable to resist, it charges toward the crash site. Moments later, it returns, trembling in fear. The hunter grips his rifle tightly. Then, a low, guttural roar rumbles through the desert wind. By morning elsewhere, a teenage girl named Renee stands solemnly behind her house, saying goodbye to her only friend, a pet lizard. She cremates it on the grill, a sad ritual that shows just how lonely her world has become. She reminds her mother, Linda, that she needs a ride to the store to pick up food for her snake. Linda begrudgingly agrees, though she openly disapproves of Renee's fascination with creepy animals.
Which one's Graham again? My snake. Really don't get you and those disgusting creatures.
At breakfast, Linda's boyfriend, Chase, joins them. Tension fills the air as Renee pointedly avoids acknowledging him, which prompts Chase to reprimand her for failing to say good morning. Before leaving for school, Renee vents her frustration by keying Chase's van, a small act of revenge that scratches deeply into her own sense of defiance. At school, Renee endures another day as a social outcast. Bullied by her peers, she keeps to herself during lunch, sitting beside Gil, a fellow outsider. Though Gil attempts small talk, Renee is uninterested and focused solely on her meal. After school, she waits for Linda's pickup, but her mother arrives late. When Renee demands an explanation, she learns that Linda didn't go to work and had a bad morning. Suspecting this stems from an argument with Chase, Renee urges her to end the toxic relationship, pointing out his alcoholism and lack of contribution to their lives. However, Linda defends him, claiming he needs her, something she finds comforting despite his flaws.
He needs me, and that's a nice feeling, being needed.
Later at home, Renee retreats to her sanctuary, a room filled with odd pets like snakes and spiders, and serenades them with banjo music. It dawns on her that among all her companions, her snake feels like her closest friend, a realization that weighs heavily on her loneliness. During dinner, tensions rise again when Chase notices the fresh scratches on his van. Though he doesn't accuse Renee outright, the implication is clear. Linda quickly changes the subject, but an irritated Chase proceeds to complain about the foul-smelling microwave. Renee explains it's from heating a dead rat for her snake's meal, sending Chase off in a tirade about how unsanitary it is. Sarcastic as ever, Renee pokes back until Chase snaps and throws chips in her face. Enraged and hurt, Renee storms out of the house while an argument erupts between Linda and Chase behind closed doors. Seeking solace, Renee revs up her ATV and speeds into the desert night to cry away from the chaos of home. By chance, she discovers an overturned truck near a strange crater in the sand. Before she can process what she's seeing, a monstrous alien creature emerges with a deafening roar. When the beast spots her, she hides as it strains against a chain shackling it to the wrecked truck. Despite its thrashing efforts to break free, the creature collapses in exhaustion. Filled with equal parts fear and curiosity, Renee cautiously approaches when she notices its leg caught in one of the hunter's traps. Torn on what to do, she makes a split-second decision. She removes the trap and unlocks its chain before sprinting back to her ATV in sheer panic as the creature lets out a near-shattering screech. Back at home, Renee spots Linda comforting Chase yet again. Frustrated by their codependent dynamic, she decides to spend the evening outdoors. The next morning brings new concerns as helicopters buzz overhead near where she found the creature. Determined to help it before authorities intervene, Renee makes a list of supplies for her plan. At school, she convinces Gil to lend her his mother's video camera in exchange for sharing her English homework. Later that day, Renee gets home only to find Chase and Linda waiting for a family talk. In an attempt at reconciliation, Chase gives Renee his 24-hour sobriety coin and expresses hope that he'll stay sober this time around. Unmoved, Renee points out that he drank just last night and doubts his sincerity. While Chase insists he's making an effort for Linda's sake, Renee drops the coin and retorts that meaningless gestures won't fix their fractured relationship if he can't even apologize for his actions. Once Chase leaves the room, Linda defends him again, saying he genuinely wants to change, but Renee remains unconvinced. Determined to execute her plan regardless of personal drama, Renee gathers supplies and leaves a sign on her door claiming she's busy with homework to avoid suspicion. Stealthily sneaking into Chase and Linda's bedroom, she steals his truck keys and heads to his vehicle. There she discovers hidden miniature vodka bottles and a gun, which are the last items she needs. Afterward, Renee drives to the same spot in the desert. At first, she doesn't see the creature, but using her binoculars allows her to find it in the crater. She then shoots the gun in the air as a test, but the beast doesn't even flinch. Next, Renee sets up the camera and slowly approaches the creature to cut off the trap. Once again, it doesn't move, so Renee walks away thinking it's dead. Suddenly, the creature tackles Renee to the ground and drools all over her head. After sniffing her, it steps away and Renee finally can look at it properly to confirm it's an alien. She tries talking to it and offers an apple, but the beast throws it away. Helicopters pass again as Renee tries to warn the alien of their danger. That evening, she realizes she lost Chase's gun in the desert. At home, she finds Chase drinking on the couch, asking her to keep secrets and denying knowledge of his missing keys. Outside, Renee discovers the alien hiding in her bushes. Despite telling it to leave, it follows her when she drives into the desert. There, the alien surprises her by emitting golden waves that transform her body momentarily. With morning arriving, Renee feels connected to the creature and decides to bring it home, hiding it in the cellar. Meanwhile, investigators search for a fallen object in the desert. Renee pretends to attend school while checking her mother's whereabouts. After everyone leaves for the day, she takes the alien into the main house, trying unsuccessfully to feed it. She introduces her pets but has to stop it from eating them, later naming the alien Croak. Playing her banjo, she notices Croak reacts fearfully and comforts it with promises of protection. Linda returns early due to depression, emotional over Chase's sobriety text. Renee panics when she hears Linda arriving while Croak is present and sneaks out with a mess left behind, frustrating her mother. Gil visits the house searching for his camera and sees a photo of Renee's late father before avoiding creepier urges. Renee later discovers Gil found footage of Croak but dismisses it as a fake animal video. When Gil steals the tape, they argue briefly until Linda forces them to keep the door open. Gil threatens to tell the police unless he gets answers. Renee takes him to meet Croak in the cellar where the alien attacks but has taught Gil as a friend. When Croak sniffs him, Gil faints in fear. Upon awakening, Renee calms both with a song, convincing Gil to keep the secret. Agent Brown observes their encounter discreetly. Renee sings and shares memories with Croak about her dad's banjo during another evening visit. She repeatedly tries feeding Croak without success. The next day, Gil theorizes Croak prefers hunting over being fed like a pet. They take it to Hellhole Canyon that night where it hunts pigs supplied by Gil. Afterward, Croak gives Renee part of its kill but prevents her from hugging Gil in thanks. Back home, Chase drunkenly assaults Renee over his lost gun, berating her for showing no fear or respect before she admits what happened. Chase recounts how his father's harsh treatment taught him respect. Terrified, Renee tries to flee but is caught. She bites Chase's arm to escape, prompting him to throw her against a wall and choke her. Linda intervenes, pulling Chase away, while Croak pounds on the cellar wall, causing the house to shake. After things calm down, Linda dismisses the noise as an earthquake and kicks Chase out, ending their relationship. When he hesitates, she throws a beer bottle, forcing him to leave. Renee, furious at her mother for letting things escalate, pretends to run to her room but sneaks into the cellar to check on Croak before falling asleep there. The next morning, Agent Jonathan confronts Renee, showing his badge and telling her a gun linked to her was found. He leaves his card, warning her to call or face legal action.
If you aren't ready to talk to me by the end of this here day, I'ma find you. I'ma have a warrant and cuffs.
Meanwhile, Linda notices the water isn't working and asks a plumber friend to help. While investigating the cellar, the plumber encounters Croak and panics, hitting it with tools. Croak bites him and the frightened plumber flees but crashes his van due to fear and pain. After school, Renee argues with Linda, blaming her for everything. Distraught, Linda retreats to her room after mentioning the water issue. Renee realizes Croak is behind the damage and finds blood in the cellar, both human and alien. Accepting she can no longer hide Croak at home, Renee decides to relocate it. Meanwhile, Gil confesses that Agent Brown threatened him but insists he shared nothing. At night, Renee leads Croak to the desert on her ATV and meets Gil. She plans to hide the alien in Chase's van and move it to a safe place. Returning home, she packs, leaves a letter for Linda, and frees her pets. Before leaving in the van, Chase, drunk and armed, stops her and forces both Renee and Linda into the living room. He rants about not being loved and grows violent. As Chase attacks Linda and threatens Renee with a gun, Croak suddenly arrives, tackling and killing him. Frightened by Croak's aggression, Renee tries to intervene but the alien roars at her and flees. Gil arrives and is horrified by Chase's body. He reveals he contacted the agents and believes Croak is beyond saving. The agents soon ambush the house, led by Jonathan, who disables Renee's ATV and captures her. Tied to a chair, she is hooked to a computer that confirms her deep connection with Croak. To provoke a reaction, Jonathan breaks her finger, making her scream. Hearing her cries, Croak rushes back but falls into a trap that renders it unconscious through shocks. Despite Renee's pleas for mercy, Jonathan silences her as the agents take control of the situation. Later, Croak is restrained and transported to a government facility, while Renee is held in an empty room. When Jonathan wakes her, she spits on him, declaring Croak as her friend.
You don't know what it is.
Why didn't you tell me what it is?
It's my friend.
Jonathan warns her that the alien is dangerous. He reveals Renee is the first to survive after contact with an alien, and the government believes Croak is a reconnaissance tool for an advanced species, signaling a potential invasion. Jonathan demands Renee cooperate with scientists to study her connection with Croak, threatening to institutionalize Linda and force information from Renee if she refuses. Linda visits Renee, apologizing for past mistakes after reading her letter. Motivated to help Croak, Renee reenacts Jonathan's earlier threats by injuring her own hand, drawing Croak's attention. Hearing her screams, Jonathan rushes in, only for Renee to bite him. Fired up by her distress, Croak breaks free, killing guards and causing chaos in the facility. Linda tries to escape through the vents after finding the doors locked, but is horrified by the carnage in the corridors. Meanwhile, Jonathan and Brown prepare to face Croak but are overpowered when it bursts into the room, knocking them unconscious. Croak nearly kills them, but Renee calms it down and convinces it otherwise. Taking Jonathan's keys, she escapes with Croak. Outside, the pair tries to flee in a car until Jonathan emerges and starts shooting recklessly. Gil arrives just in time to warn Renee, but as they hide behind a car, Jonathan keeps firing. Determined to protect Renee, Croak charges at him despite being shot multiple times, ultimately killing Jonathan before succumbing to its injuries. Renee breaks down, devastated over losing Croak. Linda and Gil offer comfort as they grieve. Later, the three share a peaceful picnic together. In a government lab where Croak's body is being examined, the alien suddenly reawakens. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.